Hi guys, and welcome. I'm here with David Shephard, who has not only trained thousands of people to be successful for themselves, but you've also actually trained some of the big names in success training yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at just behind us, this is our kind of like wall of thanks. These are people that have written to us, and some of them are signed by as many as like 40, 50 people who, as a result of working with us, have created the kind of results that they want in their life and in their business. But as you say, you know, in the personal development or the success field, you might have heard of Andy Harrington. Mm-hmm. Andy's a good friend of mine, but he's one of my students. He trained with me about 15, 20 years ago, I think. Then in the US, we've got Topher Morrison, we've got Christopher Howard. They all started out in the 90s doing trainings with me. So it's great to see, so many of my alumni, I guess we'd call them, wouldn't they? Going out there and taking what they've learned and really applying it and becoming really successful for themselves. Yeah.
I mean, the personal development world has really expanded, hasn't it? But you kind of get the impression that a lot of people who go into it don't quite get the results that they want. As somebody who's been, involved in that scene for so long and has trained so many people, what sort of problems do people come with you in terms of saying, I've tried lots of different things, but it doesn't seem to be working for me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been in the personal development field now for, 29 years this year. I started young. And I do get a lot of people come to me who've done lots of other things before. But also now with social media, you can kind of look into other people's worlds and see what's going on. And so, a recurring pattern that I hear a lot of is I've gone and done this particular seminar. I left this seminar totally fired up. And it's like they leave really fired up and they're on takeoff, but their trajectory is too steep. And what happens is the engine stalls.
Yes.
And they crash. And when they crash, they take it personally. And they go, there's something wrong with me. Because everybody else seems to be doing brilliantly and I'm not, therefore it must be me. So they go, obviously I need to go and get some more information. I need to learn some new stuff. And so they book on another seminar and they leave this seminar totally fired up. And sort of, but again, the trajectory is too steep, the engine stalls and they crash again. And it's like every time they go through that cycle, they do it with the intention of developing themselves, but because they go through this boom and bust situation, they wind up each time they go through it feeling worse about themselves.
Yes.
Rather than better about themselves. Yeah. So that's the thing I see a lot of, almost like a collector mentality. I'll be successful when I've done this training. I'll be successful when I've learned this. And they never quite get there. It's like they're grabbing this success and it's slipping through their fingers like sand.
One of the things I've heard a lot of people say is, I need to go and get my next fix. It's almost like people who are addicted to, painkillers. It's like they're not sorting the underlying problem; they're just getting temporary relief from it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. They're putting a Band-Aid or they're putting a plaster over it, but they're not actually dealing with with what's underneath.
Yeah. I mean, people they're spending a lot of money and they're spending a lot of energy and a lot of commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
To try and fix this. And what's the underlying cause? Why is it that they're not getting the results that they so desperately want?
Yeah. So I think what people their intention is to invest in getting different results, different results in their life, different results in their business, different results in their career, different results in their relationship, different results in their health and fitness.
Yeah.
And I think most people who are into personal development have already got that there's a link between their behavior and their results. So what they do is, I need to go and I need to be able to do some new behaviors. So they go, I need to go and get some skills. So if we looked at that as an example, let's say that somebody wanted to get better results as a speaker and a presenter. That's very popular in the marketplace at this point in time. So they go, okay, I need to change my behavior as a presenter and a speaker. So they've got a presentation skills training. And they get some great presentation skills. But when they leave, they don't believe that they can do it. So even though they've got these great skills kind of bolted on, because there's no underlying belief there, they can't replicate it in their behavior.
Right.
So it doesn't work. Whereas if we took presenting magically as an example, one of our trainings, then, do we give people phenomenal presentation skills? Yes. And though in the way the experience is structured, they leave totally believing they can do it.
Yes.
Now, we can go even deeper than that in that, even if we got somebody who did a presentation skills training, they got great skills, they left with the belief that they could do it, but it wasn't important to them, then again, as a result, you're not going to see any change in the results. Can they do it? Yes. Do they believe they can do it? Yes. Is it important to them? No. So do they do it? No.
Yeah.
So again, no change in the result. So what we've got really is a formula for success, which is skills multiplied by belief multiplied by values, which is where our motivation comes from, where our drive comes from. And so, you keep getting people who just keep changing the skill factor in that equation, but not the belief and value. They're never going to get the results that they want.
Yes.
Because we need to work on all three of those arguments, if you like, in the equation.
Yes.
To get true success.
Yes, because like a big number times a small number times a small number is still a small number.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the real key to it. That's the key to doing things differently.
So when people actually when they align those, when they work hard and so they've got the skills, and then they basically unlock the belief and they unlock the motivation. I mean, what sort of things are possible for them? I mean, what could they achieve?
Well, what they'll get is they'll get a return on their investment for this, whatever this new program that they're doing that addresses beliefs and values.
Yes.
But also what they'll get is they'll finally get the return on the investment that they put in previously.
Ah, okay.
So last year actually, when we were doing our Master Practitioner Training, which is a 2-week training, and we got somebody there who'd just done 3 programs, almost back to back, with probably one of the biggest guys in personal development, literally. And he came on Master Practitioner Training, and then he went, finally, now I've got it.
Yes. Because
what we did was we lifted the lid. And I think what you've got in personal development now is a little bit like cars these days. The majority of people never lift the bonnet on their car. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you did lift the bonnet on your car, all you'll see is a cover with the manufacturer's name on it. You can't actually see what's underneath.
Yeah.
It's almost like you could come with there are no user serviceable parts in this car. So if it's not working, what do? You take it to the garage, and they do something. You don't know what they've done,
yes.
But when you get it back, it works. Yeah. And you're happy with it until the next time it breaks down, and then you go and take it to somebody else to fix.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're going to create really sustainable results, we need to lift the cover. We need to lift the lid, find out what's going on underneath, and learn how to be able to change that for ourselves.
Right.
Because then we can get sustainable results. When we get the result we want, we'll know why.
Yes.
So we can do it again. When we don't get the result we want, we'll know why, so we can stop doing it.
Yes.
So really, when you learn in this way, it's not just about getting new skills, it's actually about having a totally new way of being.
Yes.
To living your life in a different way, whether that's in your relationships, whether it's in your health and fitness, whether it's in your business, whatever it may be. And that kind of learning will give you a return on your investment for the rest of your life.
Yes. It's almost like, kind of teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a day.
Exactly.
So I guess, in terms of like the difference between your approach and the other ones, it's like what you're basically doing is saying, rather than success being something that you occasionally download externally, it's something that you need to be capable of generating yourself. And in order to be capable of generating it yourself, you need to understand the mechanism by which it actually happens.
Yeah. So what a lot of people do, or a lot of these seminars do, is they're like bolt-ons. So they go, right, I need to get a speaker bolt-on. I need to get a property investment bolt-on.
Yes.
I need to get a trading bolt-on, whatever. But because the inside hasn't been dealt with, the bolt-ons don't stick. So they fall off. Yeah. Whereas what we've got is we've got an inside-out approach. We lift the lid. We've mentioned a number of people already, but a lot of people that utilize this thing called NLP. That is behind their success. Anthony Robbins would be a great example of that. He started out with NLP, everything he does now is NLP, but he doesn't share what's behind it. Other people, Oprah Winfrey, for instance, says that NLP taught her how to take control of an audience and how to control a room. Barack Obama uses it in his speeches and his presentations, which is why a lot of people say that he's the best speaker in the world. That didn't happen by accident. That's because he's got some stuff underneath the lid. Pharrell Williams, happy. He says he's a huge fan of NLP. So a lot of what's behind these successful people is this thing called NLP and neuro-linguistic programming. And when we learn that correctly, then we can lift the lid and we can do an inside-out approach. When you do an inside-out approach, then because you've sorted the foundations out, the bolt-ons that you then get actually plug in.
Yes.
Even more than that, though, some of the bolt-ons that you've invested in the past become activated and active.
Yes.
So finally, you get the return on the investment that you've been waiting for maybe years for. Suddenly it goes like, now I know what I need to do in property. Now I know what I need to do as a speaker. Now I know what to do as an entrepreneur. Now I know what to do as a trader.
Yes.
Yep. And so these skills become awakened and very alive, finally.
Because I think a lot of people, there's some people who don't know quite what NLP is. Some of them think it's just kind of more for other therapeutic use and stuff. But if we're basically saying that it underlines not only your success, kind of in professional and personal fields, but it basically allows you to allows the knowledge that you already have, because as we grow older, there's one of my favorite films is called Limitless.
Right.
And what this thing does is it basically allows him to access all of the knowledge which he has, which makes him a lot more powerful. And I guess what we're saying is that NLP is a little bit like that, in terms of it allows your brain to then say, I now have access to all of the knowledge because I have the belief that I'm allowed to use it.
Yeah. So, as you quite rightly say, a lot of people go like, NLP is just about therapy and I don't need therapy, so why would I need NLP?
Yeah.
And, you can use NLP for therapy. But, the thing about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, as the people we've mentioned, like Robbins, like Obama, like Tony Blair, like Oprah Winfrey, etc., then it enables you to do anything better.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really, one of my definitions of NLP would be the difference that makes the difference.
Yes.
The difference between doing something at a world-class level and just an average level.
Yes.
Yeah. And so core distilled essence, that's what NLP will enable you to do, provided you use NLP to sort the inside out first before you start bolting on other things on the outside.
Yeah, so it's not just another subject in its own right, it's actually like an underlying enabler that allows you to kind of like achieve pretty much everything that you want to do.
Yeah.
So, and as you said, basically your difference is, whilst a lot of people use it, you actually teach it. So it's not just a means of, here's some information. What you're actually saying is, ladies and gentlemen, this is how your mind works, and this is how you can now be responsible for your own successes and actually understand what is going on.
It's a little bit like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz, and you lift the curtain, you lift the veil, and there's a coming away. So what I really want to do, everything that I teach, I use personally. So everything that I teach, I've proven for myself. And so, if you really want to learn what these other people are really doing, if you want to look behind the wizard and see what's going on, then that's what I do. That's what we do. I want to lift the veil and give people the true secrets. Yeah.
So what would be the next steps? I mean, if somebody said, I want to learn about this because this is obviously fundamental to my ongoing education and my ongoing success. And as you say, not only will it allow every other course that you take to have far more value to it, but also unlock a lot of the stuff that you've already paid for in the past. What should they do?
Well, there's a number of things. I mean, it depends what their outcome, what their intention is. If they just want it for themselves, and they want to they've had the experience of bolting things on and it not making any difference. And what I've said about, having the inside sorted resonates with them, then, if that's all you wanted, then we can do that in a weekend with our Fix Your Mind seminar, where you learn the tools and techniques to be able to sort the inside out.
Yes.
And to do that for the rest of your life, to become self-sustaining. Yeah?
Yes.
But you don't need somebody else to lean on. If somebody was then going, actually, I'd like to be able to use these tools and techniques with other people, like in my business or in my relationships or whatever, then probably you'd want to go a little bit further than that. And the first step on that would be our Nlp Practitioner Training.
Yes.
Where not only do you learn the inside out stuff for yourself, you're also learning how to then use these tools and techniques with other people in all areas of your life.
So that'd be really important, for instance, if you are somebody who is in business or somebody who had a family where you don't, it's almost like I don't just want to be strong for me. I also want to be a source of strength and solidity for the people around me, so that I can help them more.
Yeah, absolutely. So business with other people, career with other people, practitioner. Wanting to be able to improve your relationship with your partner, with your family, with your kids, practitioner training. And even then, with the practitioner training, it's still an inside-out approach. It's a bit like, when you're on an aeroplane and you're getting ready to take off and they're doing the safety briefing.
Yeah.
And they say, in the event of oxygen or whatever, a mask will drop down from the ceiling. And they tell you, put your own mask on first before you put somebody else's mask on.
Yes.
Right? And that's the way that we look at it from the practitioner training point of view. Get your own mask on first before you start assisting other people in putting their mask on to improve their results. Yeah.
David, thank you so much. I mean, it's been an eye-opener for me and hopefully for the guys watching as well.
Great.
And I think it's also very, very encouraging to know for all of those guys out there who spent so much time and energy and they're just so frustrated that they haven't got the results that they want, that, it's not about them. They're not doing something right. Yeah. It's the fact that they just need to be able to see deeper. Because as you said, what they're getting is they're only getting 1/3 of the equation which they need. So they're chasing the skills, but they're not getting the belief and they're not getting the motivation. It's so heartening to know that sort of thing can be achieved, and it's not something they need to necessarily wait years.
No, absolutely.
Years to do.
Put those other two multipliers in.
Yeah.
Big style, big belief, big values shift. Then the ROI becomes absolutely massive on a success point of view.
Yes.
And can be done relatively quickly.
That's amazing. David, thank you very much indeed. And guys, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and we will see you soon.